The ladies want an experience, right? And this seems to be a prevailing thing. This post was on 8 at the table. Post says, New York City men say dating costs too much. It takes $1,000 to realize I don't like her. No. What this is hilarious, right? One of the criticisms of our channel, right, Neil? People say, oh, I'm always bringing all this American media, right? You always bringing these American things. We cannot relate to these things here in Barbados. These things only happen over in a way. That is what they will, our critics and detractors, Neil, would like to see. Now, we always bringing these things to which they cannot relate because they only happen over in a way. But this next post, Neil, as a matter of fact, I am not giving it any preamble. I'm just going to read it for you. The lady is in black. The guy is in blue, purple, whatever color you want to call this. As I said, let me get the readers for this one. Since we've done the show, I have to rely on them a little bit more heavily, right? The guy says, I'm on the South Coast now. She says, okay, where are we going? And at what time are you picking me up? My guy says, I'm thinking we can pop into Horseshoe and grab a drink or two. That's still in Warrens, right? So let me stop right there. Because Neil, tell me, we just bring what? American content. But this particular screenshot.
This is not a meme or.
No, sir. This is the conversation. Right? This is a legitimate conversation. I'll tell you all here who the man is, right?
Very well.
So remember I asked, that's still in Warrens, right? The lady says, LOL, I'm not going to Lucky Horseshoe. The man says, oh, I'm curious, what's wrong with getting a couple drinks there? She responds to that comment and she says, I don't think it's appropriate for a first date. So my man asks, what's an appropriate first date when you're getting to know someone? She says, that's not for me to tell you.
How would you rock?
Wait.
My guy says, LOL, thank you for the consideration. Have a good evening. Let's give our anonymous friend a Keelan award.
Jeez, we do what is a lot. Hold on.
You do what is a while. But my man is stick up at all. So, okay. Thank you very much.
No.
Thank you very much for your consideration. Have a good evening. My mouth's done with that.
No, women play themselves. You cannot say that you want the man to plan a date. You can't say a man must choose an appropriate outing for a first date. But then when the man does such, you says it's not appropriate and you will not be going. No, you can't do that. There was a meme similar to this. A woman, she was saying that what she does is she would.
Good morning. It was great speaking with you last night. I woke up so refreshed. I would love to take you to coffee this week. Does Wednesday work? Okay. You cannot take me to coffee or tea on the first date. It's not equitable for me. I don't drink coffee and my perfume costs too much. So don't play. All right. So I hail from corporate America. We're going to use the sandwich effect here. 6 years in the C-suite. We about to use this. Okay, boom. So I say, good morning. It was great speaking with you also. It's actually restaurant week coming up. Here's the link. Let me know which one you decide. I'm looking forward to it. So we're going to start off with something good, okay? It was great speaking with you also. I'm not even addressing the coffee, baby. We're going to redirect you in the middle, then I'm going to end with something great saying, I'm looking forward to seeing you. We're also putting the ball back in his court because he's a grown-ass man, okay? You need to make the decision. So he goes, I just looked over the options. Let's do Italian. Perfect.
The man made a decision and, everybody was happy, right? If you really want to give appropriate venues to go to or experiences, right? Then you can do like what that lady just did. You can give options, etc., etc. Just be considerate because you gotta know the man that asks you out and where he stand and how he stand, whatever, right? Because someone wanna go on again at a cliff for first date and all sorts of things. The man comes and says, let's go on a date. You say, okay, where are we going? The man says, I was thinking we go Lucky Horseshoe, grab some drinks. You said, no, I don't think it's appropriate. So, okay. The man very well asks, okay, what do you think is appropriate? Because it shows that the man is interested to get to know you better or whatever. And the man really won't go with you. You say, well, that for me to tell you. So then what are you telling me for in the first place? Me personally, I don't see anything wrong with Lucky Horseshoe for a first date. If you're going on a first date, the purpose of a first date, we've spoken about this many times on the show. The purpose of a first date is to get to know someone. It is to give you that space where you can have a conversation, enjoy some drinks or a meal. There's no lot of expectation or whatever other than the person bringing their genuine selves as much as you can on a first date and the other person bringing their genuine self on a first date. But as soon as you start to say, oh, no, I don't, Lucky Horseshoe in it. You can't carry me in a Lucky Horseshoe. Tell me, what is it inappropriate? The food bad? Like, the ambiance ain't good. I mean, I'm not saying that that's not true for Lucky Horseshoe. We have gone to Lucky Horseshoe already, Derek. Food is very nice and everything like that. The ambiance is
I
an
had a good
experience.
experience.
Yeah, exactly, right? So that's
Yeah,
not
Lucky Horseshoe, man.
shout out Lucky Horseshoe. You want to sponsor the man? The man wants to know. Yeah, man, that's a thing, right? But don't certainly say some place is inappropriate or say no, you will not go someplace or whatever, and don't give reasons for it when the man asks a follow-up question, because he did ask. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a price point thing. It can be several different things. You don't like the food, you whatever, right? And that's fine. That is fine. Because if I were asking a woman and I say, let's go in a shoe, it could be the same cliff, right? She may not like the cliff. And I don't want there to be an awkward experience with the person that I am now trying to get experience. And my apologies. You're trying to get to know the person. So I think that guy did a very good job of holding his frame and saying very well. You can play yourself and go on with your business. And it goes to show that woman wasn't feeling you to start.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That woman
Because
wasn't feeling you to start.
another man will catch you in a musty cart road.
This is so fucking hurtful.
With a wingdings tender special.
And that's it,
And that's it.
So he would have had to, as he ate at the table, Paul said he gonna spend a big set of wash pan of money, as the old people would say, to get to figure out, because it's a first date, Jack.
First date.
It's a first date. We've been in Lucky Horseshoe together, you and I, and the ladies, and when we going in there, the back out of us, then $300 if not more between the four of we.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's to say Lucky Horseshoe is not exactly a cheap date. It's slumming it.
But they can tell that as relative, $300 is cheap.
But no that you mentioned that, right?
You could go primo.
Exactly, you could, right? So I'll say this, right, Neil? And let me say it again, I don't talk to ladies too often. Again, this is a men's channel, but I, again, put the ladies on game here a little bit. Gentlemen, my apologies for talking this out. But ladies, when you decide you want to go down this route of you ain't doing horseshoe or you ain't doing the US, the Cheesecake Factory, if you can't do that, remember the Cheesecake Factory one right here. If you can't do that, there will be a guy who can spend $300, $400, $500 on you and not bat an eyelash. And you can get caught up because that man can spend money, but that's disposable income to that man. That don't mean that $500 don't mean nothing to that man. So yeah, you get the experience for $500. The man pressing your stomach for you like a bed sheet. And what else you get for that? What else you get for that? And the man going on smiling, never to check for you again because the man has realized, yeah, this is what you both. You want to treat me like it's a trick, so I can treat you like, tricks is the event.
Whore. Yeah, but Derek, what I think, and many you could mention this in the comment section, right? But I think once we see a woman is about money, right? If we see that first date, second date, whatever, these things matter to you more so than my character or getting to know me or being interested in me, we already see what the game is and it turns us off.
Because, right, we are aware that women will date a man and even marry a man that they don't like.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So by the same token, a man will carry a woman, spend money on her, if he is of the belief that it could get his stomach. So ladies, don't play yourself and think that you're too smart and you trying to play these men. Some men will out the money and pay for what they want.
A lot of women, some women, don't let me say a lot, I forgot trying to change my vernacular when it comes to quantifying the fair sex of certain things. But you want these experiences, right? Be honest with yourself. If you want experiences, come straight out and say, listen, I ain't feeling you that sorry, but no, you can't do that, right? Because if you do that, then no, you
get it.
You ain't gonna get it. So you gotta play the game. Which it sounds a bit predatory if you really study it, where you don't tell a man really how you feel. You give him just enough attention to want to carry you out. You dictate where, how, when, and what he spends on the day or the
Get what you
experience.
want
And then you
to date.
decide, yeah, you did. That sounds very good. Don't sound very upright. But you always say that some women don't do things righteously. But
Sure, big up Patrice O'Neill. Ladies and gents, this has been another Senate Short. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell to ensure that you don't miss any of the content we got coming for you. We are going to see you guys again very soon.
It's a contaminated environment. And the tutu's about that.